What's the vibe, my smell goods and room fillers? It's your boy Zebo. We back with another video. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about two fragrances that I found at TJ Maxx. These are some very unique, very high quality fragrances that sold for the low. And when I say for the low, I'm talking about under 20 bucks. 15 bucks, 16, 17 bucks. These fragrances, and the funny thing about it is that I actually ran across one of these once before, sprayed it on my wrist, didn't really get a vibe from it, so I left it at the store and kept going about my business. But as I was driving, I noticed that it was a strong, beautiful smell, and I'm like, what is that smell? Until I realized it was what I had sprayed on my hand at TJ Maxx. These are unboxed fragrances that are on those shelves at TJ Maxx. I went back maybe like 2 times, back to back, 2 weeks, and couldn't find that fragrance that I sprayed on my hand. It just so happened I, went back looking for something else. I was looking for Cot Lodge, Island, Dream. Couldn't find it in the stores, but I did run across this fragrance. And in addition to the one that I sprayed on my hand and I found another one from the same house. And the house that I'm talking about is True Fragrance. That is the name of the house, True Fragrance. This house, man, it's something else. High quality fragrances. But hey, let's go on here and jump into it. So the first fragrance that I'm, going to talk about that I actually ran across, that I sprayed on my hand, was Vintage Sandalwood. Now, if you guys go through TJ Maxx the way that I go through TJ Maxx, I'm pretty sure you saw this. Probably saw this plain ass bottle with this little wooden cap and this little picture on the side, and decided, hey, I'm gonna pass on that. It's not a household name. It's not one of those big name fragrances that, everybody is screaming about online. But yeah, that's what I had smelled. It lasted all day, and I regretted not grabbing it that day. So the second one that I had grabbed was Smooth Musk by the same house. Got this little picture of like a bookstore on there, like a bookshelf. Now, the thing with these are, as you can see, we'll put this, here's the price. So that's pretty cheap. These joints, $14.99. And that's, the sandalwood, the other one, $14.99 as well. Yeah, $14.99 as well. I looked these things up. This Smooth Musk, this is online, and I'm talking about Amazon. You already know you can get fragrances from Amazon pretty cheap. This thing was at 70 bucks, 69 and some change at Amazon. So a $70 fragrance for 14, 15 bucks. Yeah. This one, Vintage Sandalwood, again, $14.99. This joint was at Amazon for around 49, 50 bucks. So it speaks a lot. It speaks a lot. I've seen a few people comment on these because I was looking for the notes on these, which I couldn't find. But I couldn't find the notes. I've seen a few comments in Reddit where people were trying to find these fragrances. So TJ Maxx got them. Now, first thing first, I'll start with Vintage Sandalwood. This is an inspiration of underground vintage shop. And it is an eau de cologne, 3.4 fluid ounce, 100 ml. So this is an inspired by. I don't see any notes on here. Yeah, I don't see any notes, but absolute banger. So we already know vintage sandalwood. We know this is a sandalwood kind of a base fragrance. I've never smelled underground vintage shop, but I do know that this thing is beautiful. It's beautiful. It is definitely one of those ones that are kind of like initially it's faint. It don't seem like it's, you know, when you spray it on your skin, it don't seem like it's, you know, really pronounced or, you know, pushing off of the skin. But I guarantee you, as you sitting there with it on you, it's just lingering. You don't even really like you can't detect that it's, you know, it's not one of those loud fragrances, but it's definitely one of those loud fragrances that it makes its presence known. Beautiful fragrance. This thing is, like I told you, it rolled my skin all day, and I just, at first I just didn't know what the smell was coming from until I remembered that I sprayed this on my hand. Beautiful fragrance. So the thing and the base is, it's sandalwood, you know, it's sandalwood. You're gonna have that typical sandalwood smell. It's still a bit sweet, but not sweet. It's just like a hint. Very fresh, very, and this thing is beautiful. Like $14, you definitely not gonna be disappointed with this. I like it because I'm getting some type of, it's not even a heavy sandalwood, and that's the thing, vintage sandalwood, but it's like a smooth sandalwood. Could be some vanilla or amber in there, something that's giving it a smooth, even tone. Might even be some cedar in there, because you are getting the woodsy aspect, which, you know, it is sandalwood, but it doesn't have that traditional heavy, dense sandalwood type of vibe to it. This is just, man, look, I would definitely spend, like if I smelled this before getting it for $14.99 and saw that ticket on it for $60, I definitely would have pulled the trigger on it. Because it's a beautiful fragrance. Now, if you're thinking that this is one of those fragrances that's just going to be pushing off your skin and it's just going to be, you know, dominating, it's not that. This is one of those ones that lingers. It smells so good that it captivates by lingering. And that's what it did with me. Like every now and then, you know, any movement that I made, it was a whiff of this fragrance. And it just was there for the full day. Like it just was there. Even at times when I thought that this fragrance, you know, had passed by, that it had worn off, that it had become a skin scent. Nope. There was times that it just popped up and reminded me that I sprayed it on my skin. Now, the only thing about this is that it will need time to maturate, because the first bottle that I had, it was in its maturity. The one that I sprayed at TJ Maxx, it was in its maturity. It definitely was doing its thing. It was working its number. And being that this one is only a couple weeks old, that I actually started, you know, moving around with it and spraying it on, it's getting there. But it's not like that first one. It has like a smooth, silky sandalwood, vanilla and amber, cedarwood type of powdery vibe. Like it smells like a kind of like a powdery-ish kind of vibe. but it's definitely beautiful. I could see this as being one of those fragrances that, you know, you wear to the office. If you are in like more intimate settings, date nights where, you know, you are kind of like up close and you're in an intimate type of situation where, you know, it's just, you know, you in that environment. It's one of those. It's not, you know, one of those aggressive, far-reaching type of fragrances. It just creates a nice, strong, pronounced bubble around you. 14 bucks, definitely a banger. I'm glad that I grabbed this, and I will be looking for another bottle. Now, I did, you know, in my searches, looking for the notes, I did find out that there are a couple more fragrances from this house and this line, you know, in TJ Maxx. So I'm definitely going to have my eyes open for those as well. So now we're going to jump into Smooth Musk. And this is inspired by Classic Bookstore, Eau Cologne 3.4, 100 ml. And this is the one with the picture of the little bookshelves on there. So I ran across this one when I was actually looking for vintage sandalwood. I already knew vintage sandalwood was a beast, so I definitely was going to take the gamble and put that $14 down for this one here and see what this do. And I'm glad I did, because this thing is beautiful. This is one of those fragrances that is just very soothing, calm, relaxing. It's that type of fragrance that, you know, it don't say too much. It don't do too much. It's just laid back and chill. It's one of those calm, you know, relaxed type of fragrances. However, nice and fresh. Still, again, this is one of those intimate fragrances that will be more so kind of like a intimate type of fragrance, date night, office, nice, kind of quiet setting amongst you and, you know, the people that are around you inside of your scent bubble. It's not, you know, overtly projective. I mean, this one to me is fresher. You know, it is more like and they have the right, when they say classic bookstore, this is the epitome of classic bookstore, like how it's just in a bookstore, it's just quiet. It's just, you know, everybody is looking for something. They're moving from here to there. They're intrigued by things and they're searching. And this fragrance it gives you that kind of vibe where you on a mission. Like, this is more of, it's worn by that person that is looking for something, know what they're looking for, and searching for it. Like, this is that. This is just one of those nice, clean, fresh, beautiful fragrances. Almost kind of remind me of Azaz's Tea House, Arabian Tea House. It kind of puts me in the mind of that. And only because, you know, not because of similarities in scent profile, but the vibe that comes behind it. It's so relaxing and so calm, and like, this is just worn by somebody that is like kind of dressed up. You know, they just have, you know, focus. Beautiful fragrance. Definitely a classic smell. Beautiful. And I actually wish that I had the notes to these fragrances. They don't even put the notes on the bottle, which I'm trying to see if they got the notes, which I don't see. It just say scent of musk and moss. And that's the only thing that they have on the back of this fragrance. There's no notes in here. But I will, before I post this video, I will try to, dig up some type of notes and either print them on here or post them up here so that you'll have some type of idea what's inside of these fragrances. But beautiful fragrances. Like these two fragrances are for a house and names of fragrances that I've never ever ran across. These are fragrances that I know for a fact, if there was, something that everybody was talking about online, if I saw those, I would definitely pick those over these. Just based off of not knowing anything about these fragrances and basically how these fragrances look. The bottles are so basic that I would, and then it's $14. I'm looking at it like, how good could it possibly be for $14? So I definitely will overlook these going for a bigger name or, more hype fragrances. And to my detriment, I will be disappointed because these are inexpensive bangers. I've already showed you the prices, or I've already told you about the prices online. If you don't believe me, Google them. Look them up. These joints, $50, $60. I mean, it has some type of quality to them. In fact, I'm definitely gonna jump out there, in the next day or two, and see if I can run across, a couple of more. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna try to get everything in this line. I don't care. And then at TJ Maxx, you can bust the top down and spray it and see how it feels, how it rock. But for the most part, for $14, I definitely would take the gamble on them. And I don't even necessarily have to spray them. Because I know, like I said with these, it's going to take a little time for these to maturate and gain its full maturity and give that smell. So snatching them straight off the shelf, they may not be as, as they would normally be in a full matured state. So I'm definitely going to be grabbing those. So if you see these in TJ Maxx, and this is the thing about these, you can take these caps off and spray these on your skin and test them. You don't have to take note. It's not blind buys. You can test these in the store. You can take the cap right off them joints and right there at the store, fan your hand. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. And take it straight to the counter. You see what I'm saying? So definitely something to look out for if you're looking for inexperienced fragrances, inexpensive fragrances that's not going to cost you a lot, but definitely going to, have that great smell to them. Go to TJ Maxx and test them out. See if you rocking with it. See if you can vibe with them joints. But me personally, true fragrance, I'm trying to track down as many of these as I can in this line. Yeah, because they definitely, gonna be getting some type of wear and tear. Now, as far as, I want to say this before I get up out of here. As far as seasons, I believe that these can be worn year round. I actually, found this one and sprayed this one on my hand, and it was pretty warm outside. So it wasn't overbearing. It wasn't suffocating. It wasn't, out of place. It stood on business. I've even worn this now, maybe about 3 or 4 days ago, and it was pretty cool, and it performed. We already know sandalwood, it stand on business, 10 toes down. It do what it do. The smooth musk, same story. It comes off a little bit light when you in its opening, but as it sits on your skin, it definitely, kind of like roots itself, and it gains more momentum, and it becomes a lot more present. Because these things are, you definitely gonna be smelling them. They may not give you that impression that you know, they own you and they just, you know, standing on business. But as you moving around and you steady catching whiffs of it, you like, damn, you know, that smell good. But yeah, definitely something to look at. Very inexpensive, 14, 15 bucks. Go in there and spray them on your skin and see what they do. See if you like it. But hey, I'm gonna get up out of here. Thanks for watching the video. Much love to all my viewers, all y'all that check me out, sit through and, you know, experience these fragrances with me. You know, like, comment, subscribe if you're not subscribed, because I'm always bringing something new to the channel. Share if you know somebody that you think might need to, you know, tap into these. But hey, I'm gonna get up out of here. It's your boy Zebo. Peace.